Hi guys, welcome back to my book channel, and I'm really happy to be back. I have been gone for a long time, but I want to restart this properly, and yeah, I want to share things I read with you. I have watched so many booktubers last few months, and honestly this has really inspired me to read more as well, and this has inspired me to put a long wish list for books. Not that I need any more, I already have so many. I also have a project coming on in regards to all of the books that I have, because I'm going to be moving next year, so it's going to be exciting. Anyway, this is a September wrap up, so I'm excited to share books that I've read with you guys. I finished 10 books, 9 books and 1 graphic novel, and there's no particular order, so I'm just gonna go into the books that I've read, and yeah, share a little bit with you guys, and hopefully you will also pick some of them up and read and enjoy it. So yeah, let's dive right in. So the first book that I finished is Atomic Habits by James Clear, and this is a book about tiny changes and remarkable results. James Clear talks about how to build better habits in your life and how to eliminate bad ones. I don't think this was a groundbreaking book for me. However, I enjoyed it, and also there's quite a few downloadable templates that you can go and get in Atomic Habits website. And yeah, I recommend it. I mean, it's enjoyable. However, I probably would rent it from a library. Sorry, James, I do apologize. I did enjoy it, so I gave it 4 stars, so it's a worthwhile read, but a lot of things are pretty straightforward, and I think we subconsciously know it already. So that's what I think, but still worth the read. The next thing I read was Hollowpox, The Hunt for Morrigan. I absolutely adore Nevermore series. It is one of my favorite middle grade fantasies, and it's just so whimsical and wonderful, and this is the 3rd book in the series, and I will pick up the 4th book. It's coming out next year. I'm so excited about it, and this honestly is so amazing. I don't want to give any spoilers for the series because this is the 3rd book already. However, the first book is about Morrigan, who is a cursed child, and basically everything and everyone in her town, every single bad thing that happens is blamed on her because she's a cursed child and she's meant to die on her 11th birthday. However, she is rescued by Jupiter North, this mysterious magical man who transports her to a completely different world, Nevermore. And that's where her adventures begin. She has to go through the trials to be accepted into a wondrous society, and it's just so full of magic, this town and this city and her new friends, and the atmosphere is just amazing. I absolutely adore it, and it's just so wildly imaginative and absolutely wonderful. I mean, Harry Potter, watch out. It's nothing like Harry Potter, but it gives me the same kind of vibe. The next book I've read is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, and I really loved it. I can't say I was surprised about the twists in this thriller. However, it is so incredibly atmospheric, and I felt so deeply for our protagonist. The story of this book is that our protagonist is this woman in her 30s, and she's a journalist, not a very good one, at a newspaper, and she's sent to investigate a murder of a little girl. However, she has to go back to her hometown where this murder has taken place. Therefore, she has to go back to her estranged mother and her half-sister, who she hasn't really met or talked to that much. And then the things ensue from there with the investigation and her reconnecting with her troubled past, and it's so deep and emotional and heart-wrenching and atmospheric that I absolutely really enjoyed it, and I will definitely read other things Gillian Flynn has written. And also I really want to see this adaptation of TV series with Amy Adams. I think it's gonna be brilliant, and I also checked IMDb reviews and it's amazing. I cannot wait. And 4.5, I would give this book a 4.5 and I recommend it. Then the next thing I read was Pages & Co. Tilly and the Bookwanderers. And I gave this book 4 stars. I thought it's a really cozy, warm, welcoming middle grade. It wasn't as whimsical as Nevermore, and it never really reached the level of Nevermore for me. However, I still really enjoyed it because we have the main character, Tilly, who has grown up in her grandparents' bookshop, Pages & Co. And suddenly she starts to see her favorite characters from her favorite books, like Alice in Wonderland and Anne with an E, Anne from Green Gables. And then she realizes that something is not quite right. As it turns out, Tilly has the capability to travel within books, as do all her family. So therefore Tilly's adventures begin, and I don't want to spoil anything else, so please read it. And I have picked up the second book in the series as well, and I'm looking forward to it. It's really enjoyable. I gave it 4 stars. It doesn't reach Nevermore levels. However, I still really enjoyed it, and yeah, recommend it. The next book I read was Haig and The Reasons to Stay Alive. I couldn't quite connect with the first half of the book, and I don't know whether I was not in the right mood, right headspace, but then the second half really hit me, and I don't think I can really rate this book because it's Matt's personal experience going through depression and anxiety, and it's a very subjective story, and I don't think I can rate it as a book. Purely from the writing perspective, I think I would give it 4 stars because I couldn't quite connect with the writing, or maybe I just wasn't in the right headspace. I still think it was very good, and I enjoyed it. How can I say I enjoyed a book about depression? But I enjoyed the writing style. It is a very individual experience, and it's a deep story. I think it's a worthwhile read, and I definitely will pick up other Matt Haig's books. In fact, I am reading this month Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and yes, I look forward to reading his fiction. I guess this you could count as non-fiction. I do like his self-deprecating humor. I do enjoy that, and even through the hardest of times, I think humor can really help us get through things. So that's why I probably like really dark and very dark, and that's why I probably like very dark sense of humor. Maybe too dark sometimes. Maybe that's why the next book I picked up was John Ronson, The Psychopath Test, and I'm sorry, I really absolutely adored it. I gave this 4.5 stars. I would say this book just hit all the right spots, and he is just such a good writer. It was like diving into this wild exploration of psychopathy and mental health and people at all kinds of spectrum of the psychopath test. You know, Bob Hare's Psychopath Test. He was just speaking from people from different communities and different areas of work, and it was just such an interesting trip with so many weird experiments that he put in this book, and not his own experiments, but the experiments that have been conducted by psychologists to prove or disprove something, and it was just so wonderful. I absolutely adore it, and I really love his sense of humor. It is exactly my sense of humor, and I connected with it on a deep level. I loved it. I recommend it. So guys, especially in the autumn time, I think this is a great book to read about our own crazy brain. Whether we are a psychopath or not, that's the question you could ask yourself and read this book. The next book I've read was Robin Sloan, Mr. Penumbra's 24-hour bookstore, and I have seen this book slated on the booktube. However, I really enjoyed it. Although on the first 100 pages I did not quite understand what the hell is going on. We have this Clay, yes, we have this young guy, Clay, who loses his job due to recession, and he's looking for a job, and he finds a job into this really weird, mysterious bookshop, and he does not quite understand what is going on there because there's hardly any customers, and the books that these customers purchase are full with weird puzzles to solve, so he's not quite understanding what's going on. So then he enlists the help of his girlfriend and his best friend, and therefore then the quest ensues. And I thought it's really wonderful, and I think it's worth to push through those 100 pages, 150 pages, even though this book is not a big book. I thought it was really great how it came together at the end, and I even cried a little bit at the end, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is great. So I feel like if you like Dungeons and Dragons, then this might be something to pick up, because it's almost like a real life quest, and it's about finding magic in the world. That's how it felt for me. So I recommend it. I gave it 4 stars. The next thing I picked up, which is a very loved baby in the booktube community, and it's Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell, and it is a graphic novel, as you can see. Very pretty, if you can see. Yeah, so it's about these 2 young kids who are working their last day at the pumpkin patch, and they go through all of these attractions and food stalls and everything that's available on the pumpkin patch, and I really enjoyed it. It was such a quick read though. I finished it in half an hour. So I think I enjoyed the illustrations, I enjoyed the story, but I think because I think it was just so short, I felt like, really, is it over already? So that's why I gave it 3.5. I did really like it, but I felt empty. No, I wanted more. But I guess, what do I expect from a graphic novel? Still, I probably read different kinds of graphic novels, but this was still really enjoyable, really cute. Okay, maybe I could go up to 4 stars. I don't think I would give it 5, but 4. We'll give it 4. Still really recommended for an autumnal read, because it's called Pumpkinheads. So there you go. I mean, if you want to pick it up and quickly read, maybe in Waterstones in the cafe, so you don't have to buy it. But yes, please enjoy it. And the next book that I read is The Whispering Skull from Lockwood & Co series, and by Jonathan Stroud. This is the second one, and the first one, let me think, what was the first one? The first book is The Screaming Staircase, and I read it last year, so I thought I will pick up the second book and read it for the autumn, for October, for September. I'm lying, for September. And I have to say, even though it's a middle grade book, even though it's quite predictable, it's so action-packed, and it's such a joyful ride. There's constant action, something going on. Also, not to spoil the second book, but This is set in, I guess in 90s, in 1990. The world has become extremely haunted, and the ghosts have become really dangerous, and if you're a ghost touch, you can die. The only people who can see ghosts in this world are kids and teenagers. So they become these busy working bees working for these agencies to catch and contain ghosts. And yeah, it's a very interesting world, which I really enjoy. It's completely, there's like a glossary at the end with all of the things that could happen in this world. There's like the tools you use to fight ghosts, what kind of ghosts, what types of ghosts you can encounter. So it's just so inventive. So I don't know why people are not really talking about this series, unless I'm sort of the last one on the bandwagon and everyone has already read them and forgotten about them. But I still think it's really worthwhile, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I gave it 4 stars. Maybe in 4.25. Even though you can predict a lot of things, a lot of actions that happen in this, it's still... I love the characters. I love the 3 characters that we follow, and I think there's these 3 young investigators that we follow, and I think they're just so lovable and endearing, and also obviously acting like teenagers at some points. And I just really love this, and I'm looking forward to, you know, continuing with the series. So yeah, very enjoyable. Gave it 4 stars. And now the book that you guys are gonna... I think you guys are not gonna like me for saying this, and I'm very sorry. really sorry. This is a booktube darling, and I'm sorry, but I really didn't like it. I mean, I gave this 3 stars. Secret History by Donna Tart. I'm very sorry it was a slog to get through. I checked an interview with Donna Tart on YouTube, and she said it took her 9 years to write this book. I'm sorry it took me about that time to get through it. I don't want to be mean, but it was such a slog to get through. We follow from one perspective, Richard, who gets accepted into this very exclusive college, Hampton, and he is trying to be part of this group who studies Greek, and they are taught by this very extravagant and mysterious professor, and he is trying to become a part of them, trying to get to study Greek as well. However, it is a very selective sort of club, but he manages to get in there and start studying with this exclusive group of people. And I am really sorry, but I absolutely hated every single character in this book. They are narcissistic, privileged twats, and I felt no remorse. I felt absolutely nothing for any of them. I feel like they're all psychopaths, and there's a constant... Their superiority complex was so annoying. They constantly look down on everyone else. Everyone else, even in Hampton, who are also rich, privileged kids. They're just so annoying. I couldn't care less about any of them. I will admit, the atmosphere is great. She has created a beautiful atmosphere in this book, and that's a plus. However, there are so many overblown metaphors, and it just got so annoying, and I could not care less about these characters. And obviously something happens. Obviously, I think everyone knows that there's a murder in this book, so I don't want to give any spoilers if you haven't read it yet. Do please give it a try, because a lot of people love this. However, I feel like this is one of those books that you read it and if you give it 3 stars or less, people will tell that you did not quite understand this book. I'm sorry, this book is about rich. I hope you understood that word. This book is about rich, privileged, narcissistic psychopaths, honestly. And I don't want that in my life, and there are absolutely no redeeming qualities, like, about any of them. I just didn't like it. I don't know if I want to pick up any other of Donna Tart's books, because if they're anything like this, I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm sorry, this is just overdone. This book is overdone. I'm sorry. Sorry guys. If you love this book, fair enough. I can see if you take certain passages out of the book, it's beautiful, it's atmospheric, it's literary, it's just gorgeous. However, the story itself is bland. I'm sorry. I wasn't into it. I was not. So that's a 3-star for me, and yeah, definitely will not recommend it in the future. And if this is all like dark academia kind of style, then I don't know if dark academia is my thing. Anyway, that was my wrap up, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little bit of a mess, but thank you for tuning in, and I will let you know what's on my October TBR, although I have made quite a headway already. But I am currently reading Mexican Gothic, and that is so beautiful. I'm excited that Hulu has picked it up for TV series, so I'm really, really excited. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you soon.